In primetime news this evening, loved ones still reeling days after 7 people killed in Trelawney crash.
E-Talk says billions being spent to rebuild schools damaged by Melissa.
And PNP President Mark Golding responds to possible leadership challenge. Good evening and welcome to Primetime News. A very special welcome to our viewers on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands and online at onespotmedia.com. I'm Anthony Lug.
And I'm Janella Precious with a preview of what's to come in business news. Here's Andrea Chisholm.
Thank you, Janella. Well, there are two major topics this evening, tourism and fuel. Well, Marriott International is set to expand its footprint in Jamaica. And we know that Petrojam has spent billions to cushion the big increase in fuel prices. So one business leader is asking, who will pay back Petrojam? I'll have those and more later in the business day.
Well, thank you so much, Andrea. Speaking of paying back, we heard that West Indies were paying a hefty cost last evening, Janella. I wonder what we'll be hearing about this evening. Jermaine, what's coming up in sports?
Thank you, Anthony. I'm not sure what you heard, but West Indies, they won last evening. However, they have Pakistan coming up, and 2 Jamaicans have been named in that test series to come up against the Pakistanis. And the Commonwealth Games are off and away in Glasgow, Scotland. We'll tell you more a bit later on.
And there's also sports commentary and weather in this newscast. But before the break, the feedback question.
And this evening we are asking, what challenges do you continue to face in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa?
You can share comments online, facebook.com/television Jamaica, and post on X at TVJ News Center.
Please stay with us. Primetime News returns after this break. Welcome back to Primetime News.
And a special welcome once again to our viewers on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands and online at onespotmedia.com.
We begin this evening with a TVJ News follow-up. A community is in mourning and family members are struggling to come to terms with the loss of 3 men described as gems in Johns Road, Spanish Town, St. Catherine.
Now, all 3 men died in last Friday's 2-vehicle crash in Trelawney, which claimed 7 lives.
Now, Krista Campbell has this report.
Everybody shake up, man. I tell you, some man, Everybody ball, brother. Can't stop ball, brother.
A fatal crash in Trelawney on Friday with a ripple effect several parishes away in St. Catherine. The three men traveling in a Toyota Hiace minibus who died when their vehicle collided with a motor truck near Borgate, Trelawney, were all from Johns Road in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. Their families say they're having sleepless nights and loss of appetite as they struggle to deal with the tragedy.
When my niece heard the news on the radio, he said, what happened to them driving a man out on the road? They can't take time, that I don't know, say, we never into it.
I'm a person like to cook. And from Friday, I don't go around the fireside. You can't eat the properly.
I dropped down a Spanish Town and them, I said back when I have them, give me something night for drink. And I get up and say time, I talk to God, I say, God, don't make nothing do him. Make him alive and I can look after him because my child.
The three men left out sometime after 4 o'clock in the morning for work at a company where relatives say they did mostly deliveries.
But they all treat them like family. They run, them joke, them mouth each other, you know, they live good.
The big man right there, them name Tony. And from where a little youth. We there around them man there, and them man they're good. The next youth right there, them name Bala. Them youth then get trouble. Them man in a community and come like a tree saint dead.
Was a nice person. Nah said no when you ask him to do anything. Him just socialize with the whole family. Jovial and everything.
But before I leave, I said, God go with you and whatever. So he left and I didn't know when the accident do happen, but I was there watching and I just kind of feel, you don't feel like you want to cry and you don't know where you want to cry for.
His girlfriend house, him left from in at the 4 o'clock, but in at the night, leaving my house for come on John's Road. That is the last time him see me. He said to me, say, Mommy, I love you, and I'm gonna work for by your house, make you stop pay rent. For instance, him turned to his sister and said, my sister, I love you, and his sister said, go on, where you go, man, every day you tell me, say you love me.
Only the driver of the motor truck survived the crash and remains in serious condition at the Falmouth Hospital. The three deceased from Johns Road are 65-year-old Anthony Tony Rose, 49-year-old Marlon Bala Thompson, and 30-year-old Marcus Brownman Campbell. Recording artist Sandy Cruz, popularly known as Papa San, remembers Brownman as a conscious young man with impressive reasoning skills. He says despite their age gap, they were especially close, and he recalls responding to a birthday text from him the day he died.
All I know, I don't do nothing for my birthday. I don't trim, I don't shave, I don't nothing, I don't put on no clothes. I just like the second friend I have died for my birthday.
Relatives say since the crash, they've been urging other loved ones to be especially careful in their commute and are cautioning all motorists to slow down. Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
Billions are being pumped into rebuilding schools following damage by Hurricane Melissa. The Education Ministry will have $2.9 billion to spend in the 2026-2027 fiscal year, more than $100 million than last year. During a quarterly press conference Thursday morning, the Education Transformation Oversight Committee, ETOC, says rebuilding continues with over 200 schools still being worked on 9 months later.
Over $5 billion, the money being invested in the restoration of schools affected by Hurricane Melissa last year. $2.9 billion for the 2026-2027 fiscal year. $2.7 billion for the 2025-2026 period. Now there are just 2 months until students kiss summer holidays goodbye. But will the affected schools be fully ready to welcome them back? Dr. Adrian Stokes, chairman of the Education Transformation Oversight Committee, ETOC, says the work will continue for some time.
There are many schools that are involved. A lot of work to be done. Clearly, there are constraints as it relates to the capacity of contractors. A lot of rebuild work will go on in the country as we recover from Melissa. So resources will have to be shared.
214 schools are under active construction. 205 are listed under Priority 1, those that suffered severe structural damage. 78 are over 80% complete. Now 32 are completed, 28 of which are under priority 1.
The ministry prioritized schools that were severely damaged. They call these priority 1 schools, schools like Manning's High, for example. So there are a number of these schools that were significantly damaged, and a lot of attention is being given to these schools to recover them. And the hope is that we will see many of these schools coming back online for September.
After the damage leaving many students in limbo, Dr. Stokes further reasoned that a top priority now is ensuring that going forward, schools are more resilient.
The important thing is to ensure that the schools are rebuilt sustainably. They take into consideration new technology, and importantly, that these newly erected structures can withstand future crises like what we experienced with Melissa. So that's very, very important, right? To build back better, right? So we look forward to the work being done there.
Ramarda Lyons, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, the Education Ministry also said there is a keen focus on the development of educators, with thousands of early childhood professionals being trained.
We continue with the quality of our teachers within the sector. Capacity building remains our central theme in our transformation agenda. During this quarter, over 3,300 early childhood practitioners were trained in priority competence areas aligned to ECC standards, strengthening the quality across the sector.
The Kingston Public Hospital says it has begun corrective measures after a viral social media post exposing major operational challenges facing the 250-year-old facility. Yannick Williams has the details.
A social media post highlighting operational issues at Kingston Public Hospital has renewed concerns about the state of public health. Under the headline, KPH in Shambles, it lists problems like one functional elevator for the main building, the lack of appropriate papers for documentation on wards, the lack of disposable linen, and the bus used to transport staff is being used to transport soiled linen. In a statement Thursday, the management of KPH assured the proactive action have been taken to address the issues highlighted and to restore normal operation. The hospital cited, among other things, the temporary shortage of clinical stationery after a high-volume printer malfunctioned. The management says smaller printers were used, off-site printing was arranged, and a commercial printer was contracted until a new multipurpose printer was commissioned earlier this week. The hospital says it has strengthened laundry operations with new industrial washing machines, dedicated linen transport vehicles, and 400 new bed sheets expected by the end of the week. On the issue of elevators, 2 are undergoing repairs, while the South Operating Theatre is now fully operational following repairs to its air conditioning system. The KPH says it remains focused on delivering safe and reliable health care and will continue commemorating its 250th anniversary via several planned activities which will culminate on December 14, 2026. Yannick Williams, TVJ News.
Still to come this evening, government plans to repair more than 100 health centers. And in business news, business leader questioning the pricing mechanism for fuel locally. We'll be right back.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. People's National Party President Mark Golding has spoken publicly for the first time about suggestions that he could be challenged for the leadership post. The question was put to him by a supporter of the party at a town hall meeting in Black River, St. Elizabeth on Wednesday night.
I don't know if it's rumor going around saying that there is going to be some runoff with my party leader.
As for the last point you made, sir, one Marky Jeep on the app. One.
Now, Mr. Golding led the PNP in the last election but was defeated by Dr. Andrew Holness. Shortly after the general election, Mr. Golding indicated that he is prepared to lead the party into the next general election, which is due by 2030. But there have been reports suggesting that Member of Parliament for Northwestern St. Catherine, Damian Crawford, could challenge Mr. Golding for the PNP presidency come next year. Party supporters have since expressed concern that any challenge will be a major distraction and could cause a rift within the PNP.
In the meantime, the PNP continues to press the government to act on behalf of those Jamaicans still suffering 9 months after Hurricane Melissa. The ongoing issues with the recovery and rebuilding phase were ventilated at a town hall meeting hosted by the PNP in Black River Wednesday.
Wednesday's town hall meeting in Black River was one of the opposition leaders' first public presentations since audio recording began circulating of plans by supposed elements within the PNP to frustrate the NARA process. Mr. Golding didn't comment on that specific issue, but instead focused on the seeming neglect of many hurricane victims by the government, some of whom are being made to wait on NARA for recovery to start.
NARA is not even going to be up and running probably until the end of the year, because they have to build out their staff and all the rest of it. They're in talks with international development partners for assistance around the administration of NARA. So it's not going to be a rapid response, when what Jamaica needs is a rapid response. People's lives have been turned upside down.
Residents were in agreement with the need for speed in rebuilding.
We need assistance around here, because no cannibal no live around here. It's a people live in this community around here.
Many residents are still struggling to find basic amenities such as water and food. Others are still living under tarpaulins, prompting this remark by the opposition spokesman on housing.
I want to know, are you going to provide accommodation for those third country nationals before those deportees, before you provide the assistance to the other 70,000 individuals in Jamaica who have not gotten any assistance yet?
Mr. Golding said the silence among civil society groups about the issues in the economy as a result of the hurricane is also troubling.
I don't hear civil society talking about it. I don't hear the private sector talking about it. But I don't know whether they're afraid of government or what it is. But it needs to be said. You can't sit down in Kingston and things are all right and just assume that that is how Jamaica, the whole of Jamaica is. You know, that is not the case.
The town hall meeting in Black River was intended to give stakeholders in St. Elizabeth a platform to voice their concerns, as many say they haven't been consulted by the state.
It has to be a people-centered thing. You can't be just making decisions in Jamaica House or wherever it is and saying to everybody, this is what it's going to be. I understand that Major General Anthony Anderson came down here yesterday or the day before, and I'm glad to see that he came. Maybe he heard about the town hall and decided he would show his face before. Whatever it is, I'm glad he came. But that is not really a structured form of consultation with the people.
Halshane Burke, TVJ News.
Now, 101 health centers will be retrofitted as part of the Ministry of Health's Hurricane Response Program. The facilities, which are mainly in Western Jamaica, will also be reclassified to meet the needs of the communities and offer new services. Jamila Maitland reports.
101 health centers, 1 hospital, 5 parishes. The Health Hurricane Response Program, being funded by the government to the tune of $6 billion, is expected to transform primary health care for communities, especially those hard.
And we're not on all that sort of technical stuff.
41 health centers are to be reformed. Currently, health centers are classified as Type 1 to Type 5 and provides varying services. The health centers will be reclassified into 3 categories: community, district, and comprehensive. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jacqueline Bisesa McKenzie explains.
A lot of persons have lost their faith in the health centers because they say, I go there, there's no doctor there. And so they bypass the health centers, and where it is that a doctor comes, the doctor comes once a week or twice a month or something like that. And so there is no reliability.
As a result, the CMO says the hospitals, already bursting at the seams with treating emergencies and other traumas, become overwhelmed with primary healthcare issues. Program Director Karen McKenzie Chain says communities will have greater access to certain services at health centers.
The expanded services at the different health centers will include for maternal and child health, as how the systems were generally understood to provide, but it will also now include for dental services at a lot of their institutions, ensuring that we have mental health for both adults and for the adolescents and children, as well as the integration of diagnostic services at the health centers.
Assessments have already been done on 100 health centers. In Beeston Spring, however, a remote rural community in eastern Westmoreland, there appears to be a challenge. The Ministry of Health didn't reveal all the details, only that the assessments will be done. Meanwhile, the Savannah Hospital, that also sustained major infrastructural damage during Hurricane Melissa, will also be upgraded.
We'll be building a new accident and emergency building. We'll be improving on the outpatient and the physiotherapy services. We'll also be purchasing additional equipment to ensure that the service delivery is improved.
Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
With complaints of with shelters having inadequate resources during the hurricane season, ODPEM has begun to distribute emergency supplies to the local authorities. The head of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, gave the update at this week's sitting of Parliament's Public Accounts Committee. Andrea Chisholm has the details.
No cots, no blankets, limited food and water. Just some of the usual complaints from people when they leave their homes for shelters during severe weather events. PAC Chairman Julian Robinson argues that the current system does not work.
We appoint shelter managers who are volunteers, who then come under tremendous pressure to provide all kinds of items. When they come under pressure, you know who they turn to? The members of Parliament to say, I'm at this shelter, or one cut there, we're not enough food, etc., etc.
What we would have done before the start of this hurricane season, would have had discussion with the municipal corporations, we have written to them, would have caused for them to conduct their own needs analysis around their particular spaces, and then revert to us with their needs list. We are currently, even today as we speak, more deliveries are going out to bring to them items for pre-positioning.
Director General of ODPEM, Commander Alvin Gale, reiterates that shelters are under the remit of the local government ministry and the shelter regulations are being reviewed. Now that items are being distributed, he's hoping that some of the concerns will be addressed.
Will it cause for us for no complaints to be had? I can't promise that at the moment, but once this delivery cycle, which concludes on the 31st of this month, we'll do another request out to the municipal corporations to inform us again of what are their particular needs, bearing in mind as well that the municipal corporations also have their own remit under which they will also look and also procure items for this sort of pre-positioning of kit and equipment. as they treat the disasters at the parish/local level.
There have also been training sessions for shelter managers and training for the operation of national as well as parish disaster committees.
We have engaged with international partners and local partners around one of the larger issues is what percentage of the population would you be able to outfit with disaster relief kit and equipment in the event of a circumstance. So we're working through those programmatic areas and also developing the funding model around it.
So what can Jamaicans expect at shelters going forward?
Whilst it is that we don't want an event anytime soon, I do believe in the next time we should be called upon to respond, we should see significantly better management at the local level and also for the resourcing at the local level.
Andrea Chisholm, TVJ News.
Following calls from the business community in Savlamar, Westmoreland for road repairs post-Hurricane Melissa, the Minister of Industry and Commerce, Aubin Hill, visited the chamber meeting where he promised to ease their frustration. Kimberly Petty has the details.
A room filled with concerned business operators in Savlamar, Westmoreland, as Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Senator Aubin Hill, listened to their plight at the monthly chamber meeting. Among the concerns, the length of time it's taken for Westmoreland to get the attention it needs.
Why it is that Westmoreland, maybe because it's so far, I don't know why it's taking so long for us to get our rightful share of government expenditure.
In response, Senator Hill stressed that things had happened in a particular sequence post-Melissa before getting to the business community. This is where NARA comes in. The stakeholders presented 2 proposals which detailed 5 areas needing urgent attention within the next 8 months. These include road rehabilitation, town enhancement and development, garbage collection improvement, new market or relocation, and an investment facilitation program. On the issue of roads, they're requesting they be patched in the short term.
One of the things that we want to do as a government is to move the roads away from right next to the sea. Now, those roads were built to help move sugar, I imagine, that we had. That was in the interest of the colonial power. So they built the roads to suit their interest. And frankly, climate change and whatever else has changed, the world changes. When you have a road so close to the sea, you're going to have problems.
There were mixed views on the issue of the market. The chamber is recommending that it be relocated or that a new one be built.
But if you move the market south, you're going to have a serious problem. Because the people don't find and nothing to go from young people.
There are many business people who have invested heavily in this town. So I would suggest that we have some consultations.
The market has been in a state of disrepair for years, forcing vendors to sell on the streets, which adds to the congestion in the town. Mr. Hill said he will note the concerns and point them to the local government ministry. On the way forward, Chamber President Moses Charbar is hopeful.
The business community had quite a bit of concerns, quite a bit of questions, and they were answered. There were some questions that didn't fall directly on the Minister Hill's portfolio, and he promised he would take it back to those ministries and also the cabinet.
Kimberly Petty, TVJ News.
Coming up in this newscast, the U.S. announces tariffs on dozens of countries over forced labor concerns. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. We're continuing the news. A major transformation is on the way for one of Kingston's key entry points. The Sir Florizel Glasspool Boulevard is set to get a major facelift under the Spark 2 program. The initiative is aimed at paving the way for a more modern and visually appealing capital. Sandy Williams reports.
For many arriving in Jamaica, this is where the journey into Kingston really begins. A stretch of roadway that moves traffic and sets the tone. Stretching from Harborview Roundabout to the Windward Road intersection, the Sir Florizel Glasspool Boulevard connects the airport corridor to the heart of the city. It's a corridor full of life, movement, and few rough edges. Pedestrians making their way across, heavy-duty trucks move in and out of nearby industrial facilities.
Even though it's an industrial area where you have a lot of manufacturing plants, it can be beautified. We need beautification and continuous cleaning. Even the sidewalk, being the efficiency of the workers with the industry in terms of carried cement or even the flour mill. That would be a good thing. The drains within the road need to be on the same level as the road, just to ensure a smooth transition when people are passing by and they can look.
Now, the government is looking to literally smooth things over. Under the Spark 2 program, $25 billion has been earmarked to upgrade 35 major corridors across the island, and the Sir Florizel Glasspool Boulevard is on that map.
We want it to become an iconic, elegant boulevard. So yes, Philip, this is a part of the development of downtown Kingston. And the project is not just an announcement, it is funded.
Plans include a complete rehabilitation of the roadway, improved coordination for industrial crossings, and the redesign of the median, transforming it into a feature of beauty and functionality. The goal is to create a corridor that makes a lasting impression.
The mural on the wall behind me may add a little color, but it cannot cover up the need for a complete refresh. For visitors leaving the Norman Manley International Airport, this gateway offers a first look at Kingston. Unfortunately, it shows more of its industrial side. And so under the Spark 2 program, the aim is to give this boulevard a welcome worthy of the capital.
The upgraded boulevard is also expected to complement the wider transformation of downtown Kingston, linking into ongoing waterfront improvements, including the Kingston Harbour Boardwalk project.
Only thing I have no expectation of, maintenance, because there's never a system in place for maintenance. Pretty, nice, watertight, all of the dust, all of the traversing, and put along certain key points, some garbage bins for disposal.
Reporting from the Sir Florizel Glasspool Boulevard in Kingston, I am Sandy Williams for TVJ News.
Time now. Thank you so much, Sandy. Time now for responses to our feedback question. And this evening, we have been asking, what challenges do you continue to face in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa? Our first comment is from Audley, who says, me, none really, but I know many in the worst affected areas still facing severe challenges, including housing delays, water supply, and health system disruptions. We have another one, and it is from Toya. House a leak, no water, everyday light gone, no internet, she says. Nardia says, I'm still experiencing leaked roof and the constant disruption in electricity, along with no Wi-Fi connection restored in my side in Trelawney. Angela says, the cost of some produce like yellow yam, ripe bananas, and plantains are beyond my budget. Nicole says, no water in the pipes. Again, we're asking, what challenges do you continue to face in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa? You can keep those comments coming. Facebook.com/Television Jamaica and post on X at TVJ News Center. Now, the business day and news from overseas are after the break, so please stay with us.